Hailing from the great cold state of Alaska, I am the Frozen Gamer, and today I want to talk to you about Super Mario Galaxy as part of Super Mario 3D All-Stars for Nintendo Switch. Now, Super Mario Galaxy is one of those games that I just never got to. When it came out on the Wii, it was one of those I was always kind of interested in checking out, but I had never really played any of the 3D Mario games, and so I kind of kept pushing it back. I ended up getting Galaxy 2 when it came out for the Wii U Virtual Console, because it actually came before Galaxy did, and I just never really got to it, and then by the time I was ready to get to it, Galaxy was going to be coming out for the Switch, and I just decided to wait. And now that I know, now that Galaxy is on the Switch, Galaxy 2 will probably be coming too, and assuming it does, that's where I want to play it. But all that being said, Super Mario Galaxy is a great game. An excellent game. I am so blown away at how great this game is. Like, I had always heard it was great, and I've heard Galaxy 2 is even better, so I'm looking forward to playing that one. But Galaxy really was so much fun. Now, that being said, it's not a perfect game. It's one of those games where you definitely have to, especially after playing Sunshine, it can be a little bit hard to get used to, because just like when I went from 64 to Sunshine, when I went from Sunshine to Galaxy, I did it back to back, and I did play Galaxy to completion. I did all 121 stars with both Mario and Luigi, so all 242 stars. And in doing so, I found myself able to really appreciate the level design and the way the game controls and everything else. I will say, the way the game controls is different from Sunshine, obviously. There's no FLUDD, is the big thing. You basically get all the moves you had in 64. So the long jump, the side somersault that's annoyingly back to being more difficult to do, the backflip, and then you also get a spin move, which can be used for getting yourself back on a platform if you actually accidentally jump a little too far. It can be used for taking out enemies. And this game, it does not make as much use of coins. So instead of collecting coins, you're collecting more star bits than anything else. And these star bits, every 50 ones you get a life, which is great. And you can collect the star bits if you're playing either on the TV or in tabletop mode. You can use it with motion. You can pick them up with motion controls using the gyro sensor in Joy-Cons or the Pro Controller. And if you are playing in handheld mode, you have to use the touchscreen and touch it with your finger, which is annoying and sucks and only does not work as well as the motion controls. I'll just say that. But I found that the fact that the coins are basically only used to restore health was kind of nice, because I was glad I didn't have to do any 100 coin collection challenges, as those got pretty annoying in 64, and Sunshine, they were also at times pretty annoying. Probably my least favorite stars / shines to get, and so they don't exist in Galaxy. Galaxy has a lot more variety, I think. Maybe not. I guess maybe it really is roughly about the same as the two previous games, but in order to get the last star of the game, the 121st star for each character, you have to get all 120 stars with Mario and with Luigi, and that includes facing the final stage against Bowser twice per character, because if you don't face it, then you don't unlock the last stage that lets you get the 121st star. But anyway, going back to how the game feels in general, it's a lot of fun. The motion controls work well for collecting the star bits. I was not sure how it was going to feel with the gyro motion controls, particularly when it comes to things like, when you're playing with the Pro Controller, because that's the main way I was planning to play when I was playing on the TV, was with the Pro Controller, and it actually works really well. It does work well as well with the split Joy-Cons. Of course, you have a little more range of motion than you did with the Wii Remote and Nunchucks, simply because you don't have anything tethering them together. But then you also have you have to reset the gyro sensor pretty often, because it gets out, it kind of loses the centered state, but you can just do that with the press of the R button, so it's not a huge deal. But it does, that aspect of the motion controls worked really well. The controls feel pretty tight for the most part. I mean, they're definitely looser than Sunshine, / more forgiving in some ways, but then they also make up for it by just how easy some of the things are to do. Wall jumping, as I talked about in my last 2 reviews, wall jumping is way easier in Galaxy than it is in 64 or Sunshine. So that's good that they progressed on that front at least. So 64 had the most difficult, frustrating, annoying wall jumping. Sunshine had better, but still not quite good enough wall jumping. And then Galaxy has excellent wall jumping. So I'm glad that they fixed that, because that was something that became really frustrating in 64, and Sunshine sometimes could be really frustrating as well if you didn't get things lined up just right. But otherwise, like I said, the controls basically transfer over from 64, apart from the spin move and the using motion controls to pick up star bits. But then there's also certain levels where you have to use motion controls, and those ones, if you can't see my hand, I'm kind of like clenching my fingers, because those were so frustrating. I will say that they were easier the second time when I went back with Luigi, just because I kind of knew the tricks a little bit better and was able to get through them more easily as a result. But like, there's the Loop-De-Swoop Galaxy, which video you'll see here, I actually had a surprisingly good run, but I cannot tell you how many times I fell off during that stupid thing. But once you figure out that if you're kind of like moving constantly, here, I'll get my controller. If you figure out that if you're kind of like moving constantly to get shifted and stuff, then it's considerably, that's pretty much what you have to do when you're playing with a Pro Controller. I didn't try doing it with the Joy-Cons. It does make a difference. And then there's also other ones where you have to stand on top of a ball that has a star in it, and you have to move it along in order to get it into a hole at the end. And like the first time you do it, it's not too difficult. The level's pretty flat for the most part. There's not a whole lot of holes to deal with. But then like there's a few of the later motion controlled levels, I think one of which is actually in one of the challenge galaxies, where you have just like these teeny tiny little paths to go on and that sort of thing, and you have to hold up in order to roll, and then kind of like turn a little bit in order to not fall off, and like you move forward to roll forward, and like pull back to slow your roll. And some of those are just really frustrating and really difficult, and kind of ridiculous. And then there's others where, particularly some of the purple coin levels, some of them are not terrible when you're doing them as Mario. But then when you come back to them as Luigi, because Luigi is faster and he jumps higher, but he's also very slippery. So it takes a tiny bit more to get him going. Like him getting started running is a little bit harder, though he moves faster once you do. And then getting him to stop, you basically have to stop your stick quite a while before you want to stop in order to keep him from sliding off. There's one level in particular, I think it's in the Space Junk Galaxy, the purple coins for the Space Junk. And, the platforms are appearing as you get closer to them. And like if you don't know the layout well enough, it's very easy to either jump too far or not far enough, or run too far and then you just slide off because Luigi's too slippery, or I don't know. It's just I found that like it was some of the purple coin ones were really frustrating. I mean, there's other ones where it's literally you're just going around the level. You have no time limit. It's just, you know, take your time, take it easy, enjoy it. And then there's the Luigi's Purple Coins level, which is the infamous level that is considered by many to be the most difficult, one of the most difficult levels, at least in Galaxy, if not in general. I don't think it's as difficult as other ones in general, but in Galaxy it's definitely one of the more difficult ones. Mostly because it's very easy to, I mean, if you're not great at long jumping, if you mess up a lot like I do, a lot, then you may very well end up in the poisonous purple liquid that you sink into, you can't get out of, and you're screwed. Or if you stay on one of the disappearing platforms too long, you're screwed. If you happen to land on one of the rotating platforms and you don't move quickly enough and you slide off, you're screwed. There's one particular instance which I can't remember if I have this recorded or not. You'll see if I do, where I managed to get all 100 coins and then I missed the final jump and ended up dying. But then there are other moments where it's like, okay, I did it. I got all the 100 coins. I got the star. I'm so satisfied, so glad I finally got this one done. And, you know, it does feel like a great accomplishment. And then when you've done all of them, all of the pain in the butt ones, all of the easy ones, like I said, some easier with Mario, some easier with Luigi. The purple coins, Luigi's purple coins was easier with Luigi, definitely, just because he jumps a lot farther. Or at least it was when I went back to record gameplay for the two of them, and I found that Mario felt really slow compared to Luigi, just because I had been playing with Luigi most recently. And then I went back and did Luigi, and I was able to get the purple coins with a lot less trouble. But all of that being said, you know, there's a lot of joy in this game, and I really found myself continually coming back to it. It was another one where I didn't feel like I needed to take any significant breaks. Now, that's not to say that I never got frustrated. I obviously got frustrated a lot. One thing with the controls that I did find to be really frustrating at times was that sometimes when you're upside down, at least when you're not on like an actual round planet or something, sometimes the movement is unintuitive. Like you keep moving forward thinking that you're gonna, you know, loop around something, and instead it like turns around in the middle of the thing and comes back up. It's like, no, that's not what I want. Or, you know, there's one of the ones, one of the purple coins levels where you have to, I mean, where you're moving along a set path, and it's not the one that like loops around so you can get anything you missed on the way back. It's more, you have to get every single coin as you're going, and if you mess up, your chances of getting back to that coin quickly enough, or, you know, being able to jump back far enough to get to that blue coin or purple coin and then get back on the platform and then still pick up the other ones, is slim to none. And with Luigi especially, this particular level was, because he's so slippery, and, you know, you just mess up ever so slightly, you're screwed, and you have to start the whole thing over again. I ended up just, in those instances, killing myself and then coming back to the level later on. And eventually I got all of them, of course. And then at the end of it all, once you've gotten all 120 stars with each character, you unlock the final galaxy, which I can't even remember what it's called. And this one is simultaneously the easiest star you'll get and the hardest. Now, the reason I say that is because it is the easiest, because you literally have to collect 100 purple coins, but they're all pretty much in a straight line. There's no timer, there's no pits to fall in, I don't think there's any way you can actually die here. I think it's actually impossible. I could be wrong about that. Maybe someone could prove me wrong. I haven't tested it. But you basically, you know, it's extremely, like, the easiest star that you can possibly get. But it's also the most difficult, because in order to get it, you have to get 240 stars. 120 with Mario, and then 120 with Luigi. But in the end, it was still satisfying. I was really happy to get it. You get, like, a cool picture when you get it. You know, with each character, which is like, ooh, that's so exciting. But more than anything, it's just kind of like, it's satisfying to get through that. And, I don't know. One thing I do have to mention about Galaxy, and I had mentioned this when I did my overall review of the 3D All-Stars collection, Galaxy runs at 60 frames per second, where Sunshine and 64 only ran at 30. And running at 60 makes all the difference. In fact, like, it feels so smooth, so much better than Sunshine and 64 simply because of that. Now, I didn't have a problem going back to 64 or Sunshine because, like, I'm used to the games running at that lower frame rate. But seeing Galaxy run at 60 frames really makes me wish that 64 and Sunshine had done the same thing. Because it just makes a big difference in how the game feels. It controls so very smoothly, and it feels great. And I can't recommend Galaxy high enough. I mean, I can only hope that they bring Galaxy 2 over to Switch as well, because it's so fun. It's so much fun, and even the most difficult things, I'm really glad I finally got to play it, and I'm glad I got to play it on Switch. Like I said, the only real downside with the Switch version of Galaxy, if you can really call it a downside, is that playing in handheld mode is not great. I mean, there are some levels where you don't really need to collect star bits, especially some of the purple coin levels, and so it doesn't really matter so much that you're, you know, having to use the touchscreen to collect star bits. But then there's a lot of other times where, like, there's a ton of star bits that you can collect, which can be helpful for getting more lives if you're, you know, dying a lot on certain levels, or you know, you can use the star bits in order to gain access to other levels to get other stars. Even though you'll likely have a major abundance of star bits in the end. I think I had like 7, 8, 9,000 star bits at the end of both playthroughs with, you know, each character. But yeah, I mean, like, the only real detriment of the Switch version is handheld mode, and that's only because collecting star bits is such a pain in the butt with the touchscreen. It just doesn't work very well. I mean, it works, but it's having to take your hand off of the other controls in order to touch the screen to grab the star bits. That's a pain in the butt. So I definitely recommend that if you play this, play it on the TV, play it in tabletop mode with the Joy-Cons detached or with the Pro Controller, whichever. But play it. If you can get this, if you can still get this collection, Galaxy alone is such an amazing game and has so much content there. I mean, it has the most content of the 3 games, and it's one that controls controls the best. It looks the best. I mean, it looks in many ways like a modern game. But it's just worth your time. So I highly recommend it. I have to say, you know, even if down the line Nintendo does actually release these games separately rather than as the 3D All-Stars collection, if you buy one game of these 3 games, Galaxy would be it. And as much as I love Sunshine, and even though I think 64 is still worth playing, Galaxy is the one of the 3 that I say is the most worth playing for anyone. And the other 2 are just dependent upon your level of tolerance and whether or not you're willing to learn how to play. So anyway, I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Let me know, are you planning to pick up the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection before it is discontinued? Or what do you think of Galaxy? Do you like it as much or less than the other Mario games? Have you played it? Have you not played it? I just want to know what you guys think. So let me know down in the comments below. Until next time, this has been The Frozen Gamer, and I will talk to you later. Take care.